Hey y'all, welcome back to Porch Cooking and Reminiscing. I'm Roger and we're happy to have y'all here with us today. So today we're out here on the back porch and it is super windy. But hopefully we've got the little thing here on the microphone. Hopefully that's going to filter out some of this wind. We'll see. But we're going to be doing some hickory smoked pulled pork barbecue for today. Now, before we get into it, I know some of y'all diehard pitmasters are going to say that my technique is all wrong. But I'm going to tell you something, folks. I've been doing this for 10 years. Matter of fact, this smoker is the first smoker that we ever bought 10 years ago. And I have cooked probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 214,000 pounds of pulled pork, brisket, and ribs. So my technique works because all my customers have told me multiple times how good that our barbecue really was. And some of them have even compared it to Memphis barbecue. So before you pitmasters get on to me, just remember I've been doing this for a while and ran a business with it. So y'all give me a break, okay? All right, so we're gonna get to cooking this barbecue, and I'm gonna show you from the beginning all the way through exactly how we did it. So y'all, this is our Oklahoma Joe smoker, offset smoker, and as I said, been using this ever since we first started. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna light us some charcoal here in our firebox. Hopefully the wind won't blow it out. So we got that going, and now we're going to let that charcoal burn down until we don't have big flames coming out anymore. And then once we do that, we're going to put some wood on it and get our meat into the smoking chamber up here. Wood is in the smoker over here on the charcoals now. We're starting to get some smoke. So we're ready to get our rub on our Boston butt. Now, we're using, you can't hardly see it because the tag was right over top of the label, but maybe I can get it off. We're using the Montreal steak seasoning. I hope y'all can see that. And we'll try to get it up here in the camera frame. Now, up until just a few years ago, we always made our own rub to put on our butts and our ribs and everything. But a few years ago, we discovered this Montreal steak seasoning, and we found out that it's just as good, if not better, than the rub that we always use. So we went to using this. Makes it a whole lot simpler because you don't have to put together 6 or 7, 8 spices. It's all in one little container. So we're just going to liberally put this on this butt because we're only going to put it on the top layer. We're going to wipe some around on the sides, but we're not going to put any on the bottom. The reason being is because when this fat starts to melt, it's going to take all the juices right down inside the meat and around the side and everywhere else on the butt. So we don't have to do that. Again, this is the technique that we use. All right, so that's got us a pretty good amount of that seasoning on there. Then we're just going to take our hand and just slowly rub it around the sides. And folks, that is all we're going to do to it. So now we're going to put it in the smoker. I'm going to get my scrubbies off of there. All right, and now when you put it on the smoker, you want to put it on the smoker fat side up. I'm going to put it right in the middle there. And we're going to shut our smoker down here. And we're going to shut our wood box down there. Now, we want to get our temperature up to somewhere around 250 degrees. And we're going to smoke it at 250 degrees for about 4 to 5 hours. So our butt's been in the smoker for about 4 hours now. And so we're ready to take it out of the smoker. And next is going to come the very controversial method that I used from here on out. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our butt, we're going to take it off the smoker, and we're going to put it in a pan. Now, you can use one of the aluminum pans, but you do need a deep pan. So we got our butt in that pan there, and now what we're going to do next is we're going to pour some water into this pan, and we want to go maybe about a quarter of the way up on the butt with the water. And then we are going to take some aluminum foil, and we're just going to wrap this with aluminum foil. And just seal that baby up. Be careful, you don't want to tear your aluminum foil. Very important that we get a good seal on it. And there goes my cup, but luckily I didn't need it anymore. So we're going to seal that down good. And now here's the next step. We're going to take this in the house, and we're going to put it in the oven on around 225 degrees, low and slow, and we're going to cook this for about 12 more hours. Now again, guys, this is a technique that we used at the restaurant. I've done this as long as I've been doing barbecue. Trust me that this will work, and you will have the most juicy, tender Boston butt. All right, y'all. So it's been 12 hours, and we've been cooking our butt in the oven in the house. So we did 4 hours on the smoker, and then we did 12 hours in the oven here in the house. Now, I let it cool until it got cool enough that I could get my hands down in the juices that had cooked out of it. And then I took it out and put it on this cutting board. So I want to show y'all first thing that we want to do to it is we want to take our tongs and get a hold of that bone. And as you can see, that bone just comes right out. And we want to get that little bit of meat there that's on that bone. And that came out just as pretty as and clean as it can be. So we got that part done. Now, even though that this has been sitting and cooling for some time now, I don't know if y'all saw it when I took that bone out or not, but we had a lot of steam still come out of this, so it's still pretty super hot. So we want to take this top layer of fat, pull it back, and then just kind of break this into a couple of different chunks. And again, you may be able to see that steam coming off of it from where it's so hot. So we're going to do that, break it apart, and let it cool a little bit more, and then we'll come back and we will start pulling it, and I'll show you how we did that. Alright, so I think that our meat's cooled down enough to be able to start pulling it now, but I do want to show y'all something here with this one piece. If hopefully you can see this. See the smoke ring right here? So even with just 4 hours of smoking, you've got a really good smoke ring on this meat. So that shows you right there, you don't have to let it sit in the smoker for hours upon hours. All right, so we're going to start pulling this. Now, what we always did in the restaurant is we made sure that we took every bit of the fat out of the butt that we could possibly get out of it. So it's just a matter of you have to look through it and make sure that you're getting all the fat and any of the skin like that that's on there. You don't want that. And then you're just going to take it and pull it into shreds like this. And not much to that. I've got me a bowl over here. I'm just going to throw that in the bowl as I get it shredded. and you can see some of the bark is on there. So you're getting the good part of the bark. And again, just do it like this with your fingers. And there's another big piece of skin that we don't want to get in there, so we're going to take that off. All right, and just drop that in there. And you just keep going until you get all of it pulled. And again, remember, if you'll take the fat out of it, that's the best way to do it, because there's nothing worse than getting a big chunk of barbecue with a big hunk of fat in it like this. So like this piece has got a bunch of fat on it. So we're going to take all that fat off, pull it down to just where we've got nothing but the meat. And we're going to get rid of that fat because, again, we don't want that in our barbecue. I'm telling you, this is going to be some good stuff when we get done with it. And now this is really good just by itself, for not even putting it on a bun. Just get it and put you some barbecue sauce on it and go to town on it. All right, so I'm going to finish pulling this, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you something that is a really, really special part of one of these butts. And I'm going to show you how to get to that. So we got all the butt pulled, but what I wanted to show you is one very special piece of meat that most people might miss if you don't know about it. So this was the fat cap that was on the very top of the butt. If you'll take and just kind of roll that fat off, there's going to be a layer of meat underneath there. And to me, this is one of the best tasting parts of the butt that there is, but you have to be real careful or you'll rip it all to pieces. And this is the part of the butt that usually never made it out to the table, because we would usually scrape it off and have that for ourselves. So, all right, so there is that piece of meat, and it'll just pull right off of that fat just like that. And I'm telling you guys, that is the most flavorful part of a butt. And there's not much there, so if you do it, you're not going to get a whole lot of meat from it. But I'm telling you, what you get is just so good. And I always called it the filet mignon of the butt. So y'all just remember that fat cap right underneath that fat is going to be a really, really good piece of meat. So out of that butt, we got a nice bowl of meat. And usually what I'll do once I get it pulled is I'll take, while I've still got my gloves on, take and just kind of mix that around, toss it around a little bit, get all the whiter meat incorporated with the part that's got the smoke ring in it and everything. But basically, once you get this done, you're ready to eat. And so, yeah, that's the only thing I got left to do is to make some coleslaw and get ready to chow down. Well, here's our beautiful pulled pork, hickory smoked. It smells so good, and I have tasted it. It's got a great smoky flavor to it. We got some Ruffles chips, we got some pickles, and now we're going to top it off with the main thing that goes with a barbecue sandwich, and that is some coleslaw. I don't know if you can claim to be Southern if you don't eat coleslaw on your barbecue sandwich. And you can put as much or as little as you want to on there, or you can do it without any, but that makes it really good when you put some coleslaw on there with it. All right, y'all. So we got it ready, and I'm gonna get me a bite of it here in just a minute, and we're gonna see how it tastes. Y'all, before I taste this barbecue sandwich, I do want to tell you one thing. Um, the barbecue sauce that you saw on the barbecue sandwich, that is the sauce that we made at the restaurant. And we've got a video on the channel that shows you exactly how to make that barbecue sauce. I'll link it in the description. But you know, you use whatever barbecue sauce that you like. My barbecue sauce is kind of sweet up front when you first take a bite, and then you get the vinegary taste on the back end. So, but you know, if you like Sweet Baby Ray's or um, whatever kind of barbecue sauce, whatever you like, that's what you need to use. Okay, but mine is pretty good. All right, so I'm ready to give this a bite. So I always like to cut my sandwiches in half, and I'm gonna just show you what that looks like with the coleslaw and everything on it. So it's time to take a bite and see how it is. And I am ready. Guys, that barbecue is so delicious. I haven't cooked barbecue in somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 months. When we left the restaurant, that was the last time that I made barbecue. So it's been a day or two since I've had some, but you can taste the smoke in this. The barbecue sauce for me is perfect. The coleslaw on top of it is just out of this world. And you can make your own coleslaw, or you can buy the pre-made coleslaw. Just, you know, try it with coleslaw on it if you've never tried it. I think you'll be very impressed. The pickles actually, Audrey made those pickles. And so maybe come summertime, we get some cucumbers, and maybe we can show y'all how we make dill pickles. But the pickles were great, and of course, ruffles are always great. You can't go wrong with those. All right, y'all. So remember, make this for your family, share it with your friends, hit that like, subscribe, share, and that bell button so you get the notifications when we put a new video up. Appreciate y'all being here with me. I hope that you will try my method for cooking barbecue. Like I say, I know it's controversial with those diehard pitmasters, but again, 10 years of experience in cooking this barbecue. It's always moist, it's always tender, and it's always got a great flavor to it. So y'all try it at home. Thanks for being here, and we will see you next time.